Greetings everyone. Welcome to the Canada Immigration Matters YouTube channel, where we help you achieve your Canadian immigration dreams with the least hassle. I am Pius Aquiliugo, a registered Canadian immigration consultant with Chugo Immigration Services, and your host for today. As a Canadian immigration consultant, I often receive inquiries from clergy workers looking to immigrate to Canada. The process of immigrating to Canada as a clergy worker can be complex, but with careful planning and preparation, it is possible to successfully navigate the process and establish a successful ministry in Canada. In this video, we will provide an overview of the different options available to clergy workers who want to immigrate to Canada and some of the steps that you will need to take in order to successfully navigate the process. I am going to talk broadly about how to successfully immigrate to Canada as a clergy or religious worker. This is a topic that many of you have asked me about, and I'm happy to share some information and tips with you today. Ministers of religion have the primary duty to conduct religious services, administer the rites of a religious faith or denomination, provide spiritual and moral guidance, and perform other functions associated with the practice of religion. Ministers of religion perform these duties in churches, synagogues, temples, or other places of worship. They may also work in other institutions such as schools, hospitals, and prisons. Whether you are an archbishop, bishop, cardinal, chancellor, chaplain, evangelist, grantee, imam, minister, moderator, pastor, priest, rabbi, or any other type of religious leader or worker, you may be eligible for a special work authorization process that allows you to come to Canada and perform your religious duties without needing a labor market impact assessment, LMIA. You may also be able to bring your family with you and eventually apply for permanent residence in Canada. So, let's get started. First of all, what is a clergy or religious worker? According to the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations, a clergy or religious worker is someone who is a member of the clergy or a member of a religious order. This means that you must be ordained or appointed by a recognized religious authority to carry out traditional religious activities, such as preaching doctrine, presiding over public worship, conducting spiritual counseling, or administering sacraments. You must also be part of or share the beliefs of the particular religious community where you will work in Canada. If you meet this definition of a clergy or religious worker, you may be exempt from needing a work permit to practice in Canada under paragraph R186L of the IRPR. This means that you can enter Canada as a visitor and start working for a Canadian religious organization without having to apply for a work permit in advance. However, you will still need to meet the general requirements for visitors, such as having a valid passport, being in good health, having enough money to support yourself and your family, and having ties to your home country. You will also need to show proof of your identity and your religious credentials at the port of entry. However, there may be some situations where you may want or need to apply for a work permit even if you are eligible for the exemption under paragraph R186L. For example, if you want to stay in Canada for longer than 6 months, which is the usual period of authorized stay for visitors, you may want to apply for a work permit so that you don't have to keep extending your visitor status. If you want your spouse or common law partner to be able to work in Canada while accompanying you, they will need an open work permit, which they can only get if you have a work permit yourself. If you want your dependent children to be able to study in Canada without paying international student fees, they will need a study permit, which they can only get if you have a work permit yourself. Also, if you want to access certain government services and benefits that are only available to work permit holders, such as health care coverage or social assistance, you will need a work permit. If any of these situations apply to you, you can apply for a work permit under paragraph R. 205d of the IRPR, which provides an LMIA exemption for foreign nationals whose work in Canada is of a religious nature. This means that you do not need an LMIA from Employment and Social Development Canada, ESDC, to prove that there is no Canadian citizen or permanent resident who can do the job. However, you will still need an offer of employment from a Canadian religious organization that is registered with the International Mobility Program, IMP, portal. The organization will need to provide you with an LMIA-exempt offer of employment number that you will use as part of your work permit application. If your application is approved by IRCC, you will receive a letter of introduction and a work permit from the visa office. You will need to present these documents at the port of entry when you arrive in Canada. The work permit will indicate the name of your employer, the location of your work, and the duration of your work authorization. The duration of your work permit will depend on the length of your job offer and the validity of your passport. The maximum duration is 2 years, but it can be extended if you meet the eligibility criteria. Now that you know how to get a work authorization as a clergy or religious worker in Canada, you may be wondering how to become a permanent resident after getting a work authorization. The good news is that there are several immigration programs that you may qualify for if you have Canadian work experience in a religious occupation. Some of these programs are the Canadian Experience Class, CEC, which is a federal program that allows foreign workers who have at least 1 year of skilled work experience in Canada in the last 3 years to apply for permanent residence. You will need to meet the language and admissibility requirements and submit an expression of interest through the express entry system. The Federal Skilled Worker Program, FSWP, is another federal program that allows foreign workers who have at least 1 year of skilled work experience in Canada or abroad in the last 10 years to apply for permanent residence. You will need to meet the language, education, and admissibility requirements and submit an expression of interest through the express entry system. The Federal Skilled Trades Program, FSTP, which is a federal program that allows foreign workers who have at least 2 years of full-time work experience in a skilled trade in Canada or abroad in the last 5 years to apply for permanent residence. You will need to meet the language, trade certification, and admissibility requirements and submit an expression of interest through the express entry system. The Provincial Nominee Program, PNP, is a program that allows each province and territory in Canada to nominate foreign workers who have the skills and experience that are in demand in their region. You will need to meet the specific criteria and requirements of the province or territory where you want to live and work, and submit an application to their PNP stream. Some PNP streams are aligned with the express entry system, while others are not. To find out which immigration program is best suited for you, you can use the Come to Canada tool on the IRCC website. This tool will ask you some questions about your personal situation and provide you with a list of options that you may be eligible for. You can also contact us at Chugo Immigration Services for a personalized assessment and guidance on how to prepare and submit your permanent residence application. Before I end this video, I would like to answer some frequently asked questions that I often receive from my clients who are clergy or religious workers. Question: what is the most important thing I need to know as a religious worker? Answer: the first thing you're going to have to take a look at is what you will be doing. What is your job description and what role will you be taking on? Depending on what you will be doing, you may qualify for one of several different kinds of work permits or a work permit exemption. We have a long history of helping foreign religious workers acquire Canadian work authorizations, so let's quickly go over the different kinds. 1. A specific work permit is available to foreign nationals who will be doing religious or charitable work. Charitable work usually falls into one of four categories. It includes relief of poverty, B. Advancement of religion, C. Advancement of education, or D. Certain other purposes that benefit the community, example, the Ballet Society, Symphony Orchestra, etc. 2. Another work authorization that we often use for pastors is the Regulation 186L, Work Permit Exemption. To be eligible, you must be coming to assist an existing congregation or group in Canada, B. Be assisting that congregation or group in achieving its spiritual goals, and C. Have duties consisting primarily of preaching, performing functions related to gatherings of the congregation or group, or providing spiritual counseling. Question: how can I come to Canada and start working for a religious or charitable organization? Answer: if you are a clergy or religious worker who meets the definition under the regulation, you can come to Canada as a visitor and start working for a Canadian religious organization without needing a work permit. However, if you want or need to apply for a work permit for any reason, you can do so under the applicable regulation, which provides an LMIA exemption for foreign nationals whose work in Canada is of a religious nature. You will need an offer of employment from a Canadian religious organization that is registered with the IMP portal. In order to work in Canada as a religious worker, you generally need to have a job offer from a Canadian church or ministry. Generally speaking, you cannot come to Canada as a church planter unless there is an existing church or congregation that has made its plans to expand clear. After you have secured a job offer from an existing Canadian church or ministry, the fastest way to start working as a pastor or religious worker is with a work permit or a work permit exemption. These are known as work authorizations, and the route you end up taking will depend on your role and the job description. Question: how long does it take to get a work authorization? A good answer to this question is as follows. The processing time for your work authorization will depend on several factors, such as the type of application, online or paper, the country where you apply from, the volume of applications received by IRCC, the completeness and accuracy of your application, and the verification of your information and documents. From the time your application is filed, your Canadian work authorization will usually take 1 to 3 months to process. During this time, you can be inside or outside of Canada. You can check the current processing times on the IRCC website. Question: can I bring my family to Canada with me? Yes, you can bring your family to Canada with you if you have work authorization as a clergy or religious worker. Your family members include your spouse or common law partner and your dependent children who are under 22 years of age or who depend on you financially due to a physical or mental condition. Your family members can apply for a visitor visa, a work permit, or a study permit, depending on their situation and intentions. If you have a work permit, your spouse or common law partner can apply for an open work permit, which allows them to work for any employer in Canada. Your dependent children can apply for a study permit, which allows them to study at any designated learning institution in Canada without paying international student fees. However, if you are exempt from needing a work permit, your family members will not be eligible for these benefits and will have to meet the regular requirements for visitors and workers. Question: how do I become a permanent resident after getting a work authorization? If you have Canadian work experience in a religious occupation, you may be eligible for several immigration programs that can lead to permanent residence in Canada. Some of these programs are the Canadian Experience Class, CEC, the Federal Skilled Worker Program, FSWP, the Federal Skilled Trades Program, FSTP, and the Provincial Nominee Program, PNP. Each program has its own eligibility criteria and requirements that you will need to meet. You can use the Come to Canada tool on the IRCC website to find out which program is best suited for you. You can also contact us at Chugo Immigration Services for a personalized assessment and guidance on how to prepare and submit your permanent residence application. Question: Can our ministry hire foreign workers who are not pastors? Yes, your ministry can hire foreign workers who are not pastors, but they will need to follow a different process than clergy or religious workers. Foreign workers who are not pastors are considered charitable or religious workers according to the IRPR. This means that they must perform duties that are related to the charitable or religious objectives of the organization, such as administrative support, fundraising, outreach, or social services. They must also be unpaid volunteers who receive only minimal remuneration in the form of room and board, or a small stipend. If these conditions are met, they can apply for a work permit without needing an LMIA. However, they will still need an offer of employment from a Canadian organization that is registered with the IMP portal. The organization will need to provide them with an LMIA exempt offer of employment number that they will use as part of their work permit application. I hope this video has answered some of your questions about how to immigrate to Canada as a clergy or religious worker. If you have any more questions or need any assistance with your immigration process, please contact us at Chugo Immigration Services. We are a team of experienced and professional immigration consultants who can help you achieve your Canadian dream. You can visit our website or email us to book a consultation with us. We would love to hear from you and help you with your immigration needs. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and helpful. Please like the video, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more videos on Canadian immigration. Stay tuned for our next video, where we will talk about another immigration topic that might be relevant to you. Until then, take care and stay safe. Bye for now.